Hello, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Beth Ann, and you are in my Tenure-track Tuesdays feature, which is a bit different from the normal content I produce, talking about the books that I've read. So if you're interested in what I read, you can check out links down below. And if you're here for the tenure track stuff, you might want to check out my intro video, which I will link down below. And I'm also going to make a playlist of these Tenure-track Tuesdays videos, so you should be able to find everything related to this. Let me know if you have any problems. So today's video is following up on the first sort of general information meeting that was held by the faculty committee that assesses faculty rank and promotion. It's the, you know what? Now I don't know what the acronym stands for. It's called ACRT. And rank and tenure is the R&T part, which is the part I care about. I don't know what the AC stands for. I should maybe look that up because they're evaluating me this whole year. Anyway, all that to say, I am a second year professor. I'm in the fall semester of my second year, and I am up for second year review. So there's a number of us that are up for review at various stages this year, and so the ACRT committee held a general information meeting. And it was definitely helpful to get me thinking about what I need to get started. So I have to pull together a whole portfolio that shows everything that I've done in my time at Albright, that shows my scholarship progress, my reflections on my own teaching, as well as the evaluations from peer observers who will be observing a number of my classes, and a record of my service at the college. So it's basically like every activity I've been involved in since I started at the school needs to go into this portfolio. And so one of my main questions was like, how much documentation do we actually need? Because most of the advice that I'd gotten for starting to put this portfolio together is like, you save every single little piece of paper that like says you did something. But it's the 21st century. And so like I've been holding on to things like programs from like the sort of the presentation and mixer thing that I did where I was talking about some of my recent research. And so I kind of raised my hand. I was like, do I have to keep like physical programs? And they're like, no, just put it on your CV. The other question that I had as a science professor was like, if I'm supposed to be documenting all my activity, like on my CV, I have a list of all the journals that I review for. And then I also just have a little number that just says the number of reviews that I've given since being in my current position, since being at Albright College. And so I raised my hand and was like, well, if I'm supposed to provide proof of that activity, like, do you want like 20 pages that show, the thank you email that I got from each of, from the journals for each review that I did? Because I've done like 20 reviews in the past year and a half. And they were like, no, we'll trust you on the review thing. So it's interesting because, the general advice is have proof for everything. But then when you get into some of the nitty gritty, it's like the committee isn't actually going to look at all of that. So that was a little bit sort of reassuring too, because I have not been screenshotting like those thank you emails from journal editors when I do a review. So things like that don't need to go in, which is definitely helpful. And we're also in the age now where you don't have to print everything out and put it together in like 5-inch binders, which is great. So our sort of packet for review can literally be a bunch of links to, websites and to, like folders on OneDrive and things like that, which is very, useful to know. So we just have to package it in a way that the committee can follow, everything that we've done, and they can put sort of the story together about our time at Albright. So that was very helpful. And then the committee was also just reiterating, some general stuff that's not specific guidance, but just like the purpose of this is blah-de-blah. And so with things like tenure, I feel pretty confident that by the time I've been at this institution for, 5 years, and they're reviewing me during my 6th year for tenure, it's like I feel pretty confident that I'll have made enough progress in my scholarship and in my teaching and in my service that I'll be like ticking the boxes. And then at that point, it's the very nebulous area of like, are you a good fit for the school? And so the position that I'm in now, it's like I can't really predict that fit thing, and I'm obviously not going to try to pretend to be someone that I'm not in order to meet some perception of what fit they might or might not be looking for. I'm just going to do the best job that I can. And there's, so much that I can do in the scholarship and teaching and service. Like, I feel like the sort of the path to excel in all those areas is quite clear. And then at that point, it's not up to me. At that point, if they decide I'm not a good fit for the school, then it's like, well, okay. Like, that's fine. It's just a job in some sense. I really hope they won't, because I love my job, which I think means I'm probably a good fit, but, we'll see how that develops over the next few years. Anyway, so that's a little bit wandering, but it does seem like the criteria are clear. And that's partly because a lot of it is just showing personal growth is the way they frame it at my school. So with scholarship, there's discipline expectations. It's definitely expected that I would publish a little before going up for tenure. The number that's been floated around is like, publish one paper. And it's like, well, I came in from a postdoc, so I've already done that. But I have clear intent to continue publishing. I'm not going to stop anytime soon. And service is also, fairly straightforward, because I want to be involved in the college. And so I've started serving on faculty committees, and doing, other things that I don't get paid for, essentially, to create events for students. And I can talk about some of that in a future video probably, but service also feels like, okay, these are the clear steps that I can take to do that. And then teaching is very interesting, because it's very hard to objectively evaluate someone's teaching, right? And so the ACRT committee here is very explicit of, like, they can't do that. They literally can't do that, because student evaluations are flawed. Peer observations are flawed, our own reflections are flawed, but they can take all of these pieces together, and what they've said over and over again is that what they're looking for is growth. And so they don't want to see somebody who comes in and says, I'm already a great teacher, like, why are the students not responding to me, or, something like that. They just want to see that you're reflecting on it, and that you're constantly sort of critiquing yourself and taking in feedback from the community, and trying to change things and improve things, and come up with new ways to get the content to your students better. And I feel pretty confident that I can do that, because otherwise, why am I here? Like, that's why it's fun. It's because you get to solve this puzzle, like, every semester of, like, who are my students and how do I reach them? And let me tweak this thing that I did last year, because here's how it didn't quite work, right? So that also sort of feels like a very doable thing at this point. We'll see if I still feel that way when my peer observations start rolling in a few weeks. But anyway, so so basically that was how that first informational meeting went. I think there's going to be one or two more during the semester, and I'll give updates after those. So yeah, I don't know. I hope somebody out there in the ether found this interesting or helpful. Definitely please connect with me in the comments below if you're also going through this process or have gone through it before and have advice. I'm definitely happy to talk all things academic promotion and rank, and learn about it, because I have no idea what's going on, really. I just show up to things and do what I think my job is, and I'm still, so far people have just been saying, yeah, you're doing the thing, great, and that can change. So, I'm just kind of going with the flow. So that's what I've got for today. I will see you the next time I have things to share on a Tuesday about tenure stuff. All right, thanks. Bye.